The Columbus Wildcats are brought to you by the Henshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa, the Packwood Locker, and Smithburg Auto of Fairfield, Iowa, as well as the Cedar Rapids Titans, who you can hear on Round Guy Radio or watch on Round Guy Radio all season long. We got Coach Corbacus, who puts the Wild in the Wildcats. He's got them at 6-4. Welcome, program, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dave.
Well, you won a game, and Lone Tree fought hard to get back into that game, and they did get back into it a few times. You had a big first quarter and a big fourth quarter, I remember, and you really piled on a lot of points in that last, I don't know, 2 minutes of the game. It seemed like that's where you kind of stretched yourself out and secured that win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about how the game went for you.
We went out swinging, man. We got going really quickly, and we were able to put a bunch of points on the board in that first quarter. And I believe we ended up with 27. And so that is everything you want to be in an offense, a schematic scheme, just guys executing, going to the rim confidently, shooting the ball confidently. I believe they tried to go to that 2-3 zone, and we were ready for it and prepared for a 2-3 zone, and we were able to execute our play, and then went right back to man, and that's what we want the game to be. We don't want to have to be playing against the zone. Obviously, right now with numbers on our side, we're kind of not too deep, and so I'm gonna have to be mindful as a coach on the defensive end for our part is we might have to go into that zone sometimes, and we might have to go back into man just to conserve some energy for my boys. But I couldn't be more proud of how the boys played the game. I believe I only played 5 guys in that second half, and so those 5 guys played 16 minutes, and they finished that game strong. And it was a group effort, man, from start to bottom. I mean, we knew going into it was going to be a tough battle just because of the numbers we had. We were missing a starter. Drew, he was doing an event for his livelihood in Colorado, and he actually came out with a win in there, and so we were happy to get a win for him too. So it was just everything you could want, and 2 games back to back on the road, down to the wire, and just finding a way to win the game is the main thing, and we're doing that right now. And so I'm very happy with my guys.
Well, Columbus Wildcats haven't won more than 6 games in, I believe, 20 years, and you got that done in 10 games. You're 6-4 overall, but even way more important than that, you're 5-4 in the district. You're putting a lot of wins on the board in games that count. Well, I'll ask you about some of your players. I'll ask you about a couple players from Lone Tree. Reese Holbrook seemed to have a big night, and so did Willocks. Tell us a little bit about what they did that led to some success for them, and probably made you a little nervous as they kept coming back.
I mean, they were just ready for the moment too. I mean, you could just see it in their eyes. I mean, they were wanting this win, and they were wanting to come compete. And hats off to Priest, man. I know he's been struggling with foul trouble and stuff like that early on in the year, and I believe he even fouled out the first game we played against him. So I respect Coach Chaney for his adjustments with him and having him come off the bench. And honestly, I think that might be a real threat for Lone Tree, having Reese coming off the bench. I mean, it gives them a little bit of different juice, and it gives them energy when subs come in, and it gives them another reinforcement, you know. And we know Reese is a starter, and he played starter minutes last night, even though he did come off the bench in the first quarter. And so I was still really proud of my guys, but I mean, and they came back swinging at us too. And so we hats off to them, but we were able to find a way and down to the wire, and we were just more accepting of the moment, and we were deserving of this win. And that was a great fun basketball game. Obviously, as a head coach, I would have loved to finish it in that first quarter and keep going the way we were going, but at the end of the day, everything's not perfect. You're going to have to figure it out down the stretch. And we were able to figure it out down the stretch. And that was the biggest thing. And so hats off to Lone Tree and how they played. I mean, dude, they've been getting after it all year. And I know they don't necessarily have the wins they want, but it seems like they're sort of going in the right direction. But I'm just really proud of my guys and the way we played last night.
Well, you got some players, Gabe Zuniga, he contributed quite a bit. He had some real timely threes. I remember a couple times when they were getting close, he would go down there and bang down a 3 and kind of turn up. Tell me about Gabe Zuniga's game last night.
Played with no fear last night, man, and that's really what we're trying to get at. I mean, we all need to play with no fear. We all got to be willing to make the shot. I mean, he just controlled what he can control, and he was following through on his jump shot, and his jump shot looked good. He had a couple of chances for a couple threes to fall down too, and I believe that we walked out of the night with five guys hitting a three, and man, you can't be more ecstatic about that. That means the ball is moving. We're executing our offense. We're looking for each other, and we have the advantage. And so, I was really proud of Gabe, and I really think that he built that confidence from that Tuesday game, and necessarily he didn't get the points he wanted. But I mean, he was just everywhere against LM, boxing out, getting rebounds. If you don't get the rebound, you can't get a stop, and if you don't get the rebound, you can't go on offense. And so, he's really trying to control the little things, and the little things will lead to the big things, and you'll be rewarded if you're doing the little things. And so, man, dude, it was just awesome to see him doing that. And I'm not surprised because he's shown me he's been able to do that. It's just more about just making sure we can do it every game. But man, hats off to Gabe for just being relentless, staying in there. And even though it's been tough on him mentally some games, he's still showing up, and he's showing up, and he's hitting big shots, like you said. And those were some big shots for Gabe. And it was from some big shots just for Columbus, the Columbus Wildcats in general. I mean, it was just amazing to see, and I believe in him, and I was so happy. He deserves to have that moment.
Well, a kid earned a nickname last night. We're calling him the gunslinger. Elliott Wesley showed some leadership, showed some toughness, battled for some boards, put a bunch of points on the board. If he's going to play like this, you're going to win some games, Coach.
Yes, sir, man. He was controlling the controllables. I mean, dude, he plays with a lot of emotion, and I love seeing my guys' emotions, but we just can't beat ourselves up too much, and understand you're gonna have the opportunity to make that next play 5 seconds from now. Find the small wins and build off that. And man, he has some big shots too, and he was having fun out there. You could tell the boys were having fun. You could tell they were smiling, and that's what you want at the end of the day. And obviously, it's nice that we won, and I'm ecstatic that we won. We played to win, but I want my boys having fun while winning. And so it seems like we're getting a good balance of both right now.
Well, it certainly seemed like a bunch of guys having a good time. You got a new player I wasn't super familiar with, the number one, but he was, and I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce his name right, but he was scooping up loose balls like he was a vacuum cleaner out there. I maybe the most I've seen of any one player pick up that many loose balls in a game. He's got a nose for the ball, don't he?
Yes, sir. That's Jamar, and he's what I like to call my loose cannon, where the rules kind of bend for him. He doesn't have to be as disciplined as the other guys on the defensive end. He can kind of wreak havoc, like you said, and that's where he can impact the game. And man, he's such a great facilitator too in transition and in the half court offense. Man, he was making a few good extra passes. He drove down baseline and made a no look to Elliott in the corner, and that's when Elliott hit his three. And so it was just really nice. It's just nice to see those guys knowing they can make an impact, and just building confidence going into our games to come.
Well, another guy I'm coming up with a nickname just right here now for him, and we're going with Drake the Snake Marin. He was a 20-point plus kid. He was hitting the ball inside. He was hitting the ball outside. He was distributing. He was rebounding. He was stepping in front of balls and stealing balls. He just seemed like he was doing everything last night.
Yeah, man, dude, hats off to Drake, man. He actually has the flu, and so Ellis and Drake were been sick all week this week, and just unfortunately, number wise, we need them, and so, man, dude, they really came to it. And I mean, dude, how do you play? How do you have the flu and play a whole game without a sub? I mean, that's just a killer mindset, a dog mentality, and it's just going to war for your brothers. And I I really do believe that we love each other, and that we are a family. And man, dude, what a nice. It's just I'm in a great situation, and I'm really appreciative of Drake, and it's just I'm just so happy for him. I'm just I couldn't be more proud for Drake.
Wow.
He is deserving of all that.
Holy Trinity's going through flu problems. Lone Tree was going through flu problems. You guys are going through flu problems. Round Guy Radio's going through some flu problems. Scotty Melvin's down. Jeff Mills is down. Got my grandson. He's sicker than a dog. It's been you're either, at this point, if you live in Southeast Iowa, you're either sick or taking care of somebody that's sick. And that's another thing about basketball. It's kind of hard to overcome. Well, obviously, we need to talk about the player of the game, Ellis, Hills carrier, Little Poison. I thought he had 24 points. What did he finish out with?
Ellis had 27 and Drake had 24.
Oh, wow.
And then even going back to LM, Drake actually had a historic night for Columbus, and he actually made 8 threes. And so that's the most threes we've had in a game by a single player. And so Drake and Ellis have etched themselves in the history books for Columbus Wildcat basketball this season. And so, man, I'm really happy for those guys, and they're deserving of that, and they put the work in.
Well, if you want to turn a school around, you're going to have some kind of stuff like that going on. Ellis, he's a good leader out there, and he can get himself to the basket. But if they want to come off of somebody and open it up, he'll dish it off to them. Kind of high basketball IQ. He's got a mentality that I like, and I thought he played a terrific game last night.
Yeah, man, Ellis, man, he's really growing into his own, and you're starting to see that he's kind of a grown man out there, and so it's exciting. We're building some momentum, and and I'm expecting that, and he has a lot of pressure on himself just coming from me, and so just for him to feel that confident to take those shots it's just nice to see that he's feeling comfortable and he's feeling confident, and I believe every shot he's taking is going in, and so he feels like any shot he can take, he's gonna make.
Well, he sure shows leadership. Can you tell me, there was a lot of rebounds last night? I knew Reese Holberg got a lot of rebounds, and I was wondering, how many of these guys maybe had double-doubles last night?
If I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure Ellis was right there, and and maybe even Drake was right there. But I mean, dude, I think everyone had at least 5 or 4 rebounds last night, and so just kind of with low numbers of playing, you're gonna have those opportunities, man. And we run a lot at practice, we do a lot of conditioning, and so they were ready for it, and they were ready to play a whole game, and they were able to be disciplined and not get in foul trouble. Obviously, we got in a little bit of foul trouble here and there, but we were able to weather the storm and face adversity and just keep on pushing.
Well, you got what's the atmosphere for the Columbus fans? Are they feeling something with the getting the 6 wins already, or I've seen a lot of smiles. I seen old Telly smiling, but I never seen him when he wasn't smiling.
Man, dude, I couldn't be more appreciative of the community I'm in, and just in the spot I am, and then I'm in, and man, dude, they really got my back, and I just want to put out something that they're deserving of, and I just know the boys are really wanting to turn this thing around, and what better way when you have your whole community behind you, and man, they really showed out last night at Lone Tree, and they've been showing out all year on the road, and of course, at home games, we're going to have that thing going. And so it's just really nice to see the community buying into everything. And I know the boys really appreciate it, and it goes a long way, and it really makes a difference.
Yeah, it sure does, and it was an exciting night. The game's on Round Guy Radio. We got it on both the Facebook page, and we've transferred it over to the podcast. I think the podcast has a little better video quality, as the AI and stuff kind of cleans that all up, and didn't have great reception there as far as the internet. But another terrific game on Round Guy Radio, and we got some announcements to make because we're going to ask you about some of the games you got coming up. But we've already booked a couple more games for you next week, Tuesday and Friday. We're going to be seeing you in Hillcrest as you take on the top of the mountain there. And then another team that's kind of putting some wins on the board of Highland Friday night. Tell us a little bit about the week you got coming up.
Man, it's going to be another exciting week and another opportunity to get after it. I mean, hats off to Hillcrest and everything that they got going. It's really not a surprise, man. They got a great coach over there, and they're really buying into each other, and they play for each other, and they're one of those teams where if you make a mistake, they capitalize on those mistakes, and so you just got to be mindful of that, and we just got to go into it freely and just get after it and not put pressures on ourselves. We're the underdogs. Like all these other teams have the pressure on to compete against us, if that makes sense. And we just got to go out there and play freely and see where we're at by that fourth quarter and try and take control of the game at some point. And I think we can do that. Obviously, it's a tall task, but I believe in my guys. And what better way to have 2 wins going into that game, building some momentum. And we just got to be prepared for it and accepting of the moment. And it's going to be a fun game. And they got a great thing going over there. And hats off to them. But hopefully we can turn the tide a little bit.
Well, I hope we got a great week of basketball. Scheduled to be with Fairfield and Van Buren Monday, and you at Highland on Tuesday, and Thursday we got the Jefferson County Championship as Pekin takes on Fairfield, and then Friday we'll be over there seeing you and Highland. I think that one's in Columbus, and later on today, here in a few hours, I'm going to be over at Pekin School as Pekin hosts the Sigourney Savages, and that's another big rivalry game that we like to be involved in. Little Hatfields and McCoy's action going on there. A little bit of that going on last night up in the stands, I thought, but that's the way it's going to be when those two schools battle it out. Well, I don't got any more questions for you, Coach. Is there anything you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
No, man, I think you hit the tee on that one, and I just appreciate you reaching out and always willing to speak with me, and I just appreciate you, Dave. So thank you.
Well, the Columbus are riding a high wave there, and they're kind of a good story for me this year. And we're going to be there as much as we can to document as much as we can, and always glad for you to come on. Thanks for being with us.